it's Affy, and today I am here to do the A to Z book tag. I don't know who the originator of the tag is. I kind of just went through and found a whole bunch of tags that were done back in the day on BookTube, and it's kind of hard to figure out who some of the originators are for some of these tags. It's just a bunch of questions from A to Z about books, about my faves, regrets, things like that. I just wanted to do a tag of some sort. I like tags, and so this was the one I chose, and I think it'll be really fun. So stick around and let's get into this tag. If you see me looking down, I am looking at my notes, but the first question is author that you've read the most books from. For me, that would be Tessa Dare and Lisa Kleypas. I have read all except for 3 books from Tessa Dare, which was her first series. I have not read her first series yet, but everything else she's written I have read. And then Lisa Kleypas, I am on the verge of getting close to finishing her backlist. I still have a lot of her older stuff from like the 80s and the early 90s to finish. But I'm getting there. It's just, I've read all her major series so far. I've read the Hathaways, I've read the Wallflowers, I've read the Ravenels, and I've read a couple of non-series books, standalone books. So I've gotten through her major series and some of her more well-known standalones. It's just getting through the last few dregs that I need to get to. So I hope that I can finish her backlist by the end of this year. That's my goal. It's been my goal for like the last 2 years, but I will finish it at some point. So yeah. So B is best sequel ever, and there's a lot of books that have really good sequels. Pretty much everything I read is part of a series, but I decided to pick a spin-off, and for me that was the Once Upon a Dukedom series by Lorraine Heath. This was a spin-off. This was a spin-off of the Sins for All Seasons series by Lorraine Heath. I love the Sins for All Seasons series. It is my favorite series of all time. I gave every single book in that series 5 stars. And so when I found out there was a spin-off, I just had to check it out. And I really, really liked this series, especially this first book. This book was so good. So I had to pick this one, and I love Scoundrel of My Heart. It's a really good story, and the other 2 books in the series are really good as well, but this one was the best for me. So C is book I am currently reading. So the book that I just finished reading was Tempt Me at Twilight, which is the 3rd book from the Hathaway series. There's currently a Hathaway read-along going on, and I just watched the live show like an hour or 2 ago. So I read it for the read-along, and I just finished it last night, and I gave it 5 stars the second time like I gave it 5 stars the first time. I really like it, and I know a lot of people don't like Harry Rutledge, but I think he's great. So it was a good reread. I really enjoyed myself. D is drink of choice while reading. For me, it's generally just water. I don't really drink anything outside of water or tea or coffee. Those are kind of my 3 things that I drink. So generally it's water. E is e-reader or physical books. I pretty much only read physical books. I don't have an e-reader. I just don't really have any interest in getting an e-reader. I like reading physically. I like having physical books on hand, and so I will pretty much always be a physical book reader, which is not to say that I'll never get an ebook. I might in the future, but I just really appreciate having the book on hand. F is fictional character you would have dated in high school. For me, I think that would be someone problematic. I really couldn't think of anyone in particular for this answer. But I definitely had a thing for problematic men back in the day. Maybe Harry Rutledge. Maybe I would have dated Harry Rutledge in high school. He's a little bit problematic. But yeah, I couldn't think of anyone in particular. So just someone problematic. Let's pick a guy. Like, just pick a character from any book. If he's problematic, I probably would have dated him in high school. G is for glad you gave this book a try. For me, I'm gonna go with a series, which is the Chestnut Spring series from Elsie Silver. I tried it out because I just wanted to give myself a peek into contemporary romances, and I really ended up enjoying the series. It was a lot of fun, some great characters, and yeah, I definitely want to dip my toe a little bit more into contemporary and maybe even into romantasy a little bit. It's just that I'm so into the books I'm reading that I don't really want to stop to read anything else. And I do have some contemporaries. I've got some Kennedy Ryans. I've got the Magnolia Park series. I've got the Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6 series. I've even got Manacled. So like I've got a whole bunch of series here that I definitely want to get into. It's just stopping reading historical romance, even if it was for like 1 month. I don't know why, but I can't imagine doing that. So I have to figure out how to slide these books in somehow. So yeah, I enjoyed the Elsie Silver series. I want to read some of these other series, but I'm gonna have to force myself to do it because I just love reading historical so much. But yeah, Elsie Silver. H is for Hidden Gem book, and for me that is Twice Tempted by a Rogue by Tessa Dare. This is a book that I have reread twice now. I really love this book. This was a good series. It's the Stud Club series by Tessa Dare. It was the second series that she ever wrote, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about this series. I don't think a lot of people have read this series. I know Hope Volm is in the middle of reading this series, and I don't know if she's gotten to this book yet, but she really enjoyed the first book, and so it'll be nice to have somebody else who's read this series to discuss it with. But this was my favorite book in the series. I really, really love Meredith and Reese. Reese is ridiculous, but he's fun. I like him, and yeah, this is just a good one that kind of slipped through the cracks, I think. So, yeah. I is for important moment in your reading life. For me, that's just rediscovering reading after watching Bridgerton. I used to read a lot when I was younger. I was big into Harry Potter. I was big into the Twilight series. And I don't know what it is about college, but it just kind of whacks the love of reading right out of you, just knocks that love of reading right out of your system. And it took me years, and it wasn't until Bridgerton that I finally wanted to pick up another book because I wanted to read the book from season 2 really, really bad. And it just kind of everything just kind of move forward from there. J is for just finished reading, and that would be The Counterfeit Scoundrel. This is by Lorraine Heath, and this is the first book in the Chessmen series, Masters of Seduction, and it was good. I gave it 4 stars. It was a good one. I've heard this series is pretty good, which pretty much everything by Lorraine Heath is pretty damn good, so I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. 4 stars isn't like the greatest, but I still really, really liked it. So it was a 4-star read for me. K is for kinds of books that you won't read. And for me, that is horror. I hate horror. I hate horror movies. I hate horror books. I hate anything that has to do with horror. I refuse to watch it, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it. I do not want it. I do not like horror. It terrifies the shit out of me. Like I can't do it. I just can't do it. L is for longest book you've ever read. For me, that was Almost Heaven by Judith McNaught. This book is 507 pages long, and this is the longest book I've ever read. This one felt like watching an epic movie. There was so much that happened in this book. So yeah, it took a while to finish reading, and I was left with a bit of a hangover afterwards, but it was really good. I gave it 6 stars, so I really enjoyed it. But it was a long one for sure. M is for major book hangover because of, for me, that was The Earl Takes All by Lorraine Heath. This book was a 6-star read for me, and I could not stop thinking about it for like weeks afterwards. This book had me in a chokehold. I love this book. This was the first 6-star read I ever had. So this was like my biggest love for a really long time. I've had other 6-star reads since then, obviously like with the Judith McNaught book. But this was the first one, and it left me reeling. I could not stop thinking about this book for weeks. N is for number of bookcases that I own. I have 4 of them. They are the Billy bookcases from IKEA, and they are the 96 or 97 inch ones. They're just really tall. They're really freaking tall. I had to bolt them to the wall so that they wouldn't fall on my head, because again, they're really tall. And there's a lot of books. I've got hundreds of books on these bookcases, and yeah, it looks great. It took me over a week and a half to put them up, paint them. Painting them took like 4 or 5 days alone. It was a lot of work. It was stressful. I hated everything about that entire week, but it was worth it. I love the color, the way they look, and I love my bookcases. O is for one book that you've read multiple times. So there's quite a few books I've read multiple times, but this one is A Night to Surrender, and I have reread this twice now. This is one of my faves from Tessa Dare. And yeah, I've reread it twice. I didn't reread it this year when I did my rereads, but I might do it next year. I just really love Bram and Susanna. I don't know what it is about them, but that, 1, the book is really funny, and 2, there's just something about the characters that I really love, and so I reread it every chance I get. P is preferred place that you like to read. For me, that is either, well, generally it's my bed. On rare occasion, I will read on the couch if I'm trying to like not fall asleep while reading. I will take my reading out to the living room and read on the couch, but majority of the time, I would say 98% of the time, I read in bed. So Q is for quote that inspires you and gives you the feels. And I have 2 of them. So the first one is from Beyond Scandal and Desire, which is by Lorraine Heath. That's part of the Sins for All Seasons series. So the quote is, "And if she would not see him today, he would return tomorrow. If Kipwick beat him to within an inch of his life, he would return tomorrow. If Headley had him forcibly removed, he would return tomorrow, as long as he had breath in him." And then the other quote that I have is from When a Duke Loves a Woman. It is also from the Sins for All Seasons series. It says, "You are aware if you do anything untoward, I will kill you." And he says, "I can think of nothing I'd like more than to gaze into your eyes before I die." So yeah, those are 2 of my favorite quotes, and I've got quite a few quotes in here, but those are the 2 that popped out to me as I was going through this. So R is for reading regret. I have none. I love everything I read, and if I don't enjoy it, I just DNF it, so I don't have any reading regrets. S is series you started but need to finish. This is a series that I thought I had finished, and in the middle of doing a video, I realized there was a book left for me to finish. This is The Gilded Age Girls Club. This is by Maya Rodale. So we've got An Heiress to Remember. We've got Duchess by Design. And Some Like It Scandalous. And I did not realize, but I have not read An Heiress to Remember, so I need to go back and actually read this book to finish the series. It's a really good series. It's really funny. I love Maya Rodale's style of writing, and so I've really enjoyed the first two books, and I'm assuming the third one will be a lot of fun as well. So for tea, I actually, for whatever reason, didn't have the question for tea, so I just came up with my own. So for tea, I put top 3 favorite books, and for me that would be Devil in Spring by Lisa Kleypas. This is part of the Ravenel series. We've got A Scoundrel of Her Own. This is by Stacy Reid. This is part of the Sinful Wallflower series. And then The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shoup. This is part of the Fifth Avenue Rebels series. Is it Fifth Avenue Rebels? Yes. This is part of the Fifth Avenue Rebels series. U is for Unapologetic Fangirl. I said Alyssa Braden for this one. I am becoming an unapologetic Alyssa Braden fan. I have loved everything I've read from her so far. I just think that she's an amazing writer. She does comedy really, really well, and her stories are just chef's kiss. So V is very excited for this release. That would be My Inconvenient Duke by Loretta Chase. This came out this year. I like Loretta Chase, so I would definitely love to read this book, and most of the books I've read by her have been her older stuff, so it'd be interesting to see kind of what her newer style of writing is like. X is for X Marks the Spot. What is the 27th book on your bookshelf? So I just picked a random bookcase and counted 27 books, and I hit Beverly Jenkins' Midnight. This is a really, really good book. This is during the Civil War in Boston, like right around the time of the Tea Party and all that fun stuff. And this couple are just, they're sexy. They're a sexy couple. I like them. I like them a lot. I'm pretty sure I gave this book 5 stars. I remember really enjoying this one. But yeah, Midnight. Y is for your latest book purchase, and for me that would be hardcovers of the Wallflower series by Lisa Kleypas. So I'm going to be doing a haul, but I recently just got It Happened in Autumn with a step back on the back there, and Secrets of a Summer Night, and this also has the step back on the back. And I'm still waiting for Devil in Winter, which I bought one, but it came without the cover, so I had to find another one. And then I'm waiting for Scandal in Spring as well. So I will have the full collection. I just gotta wait for the last 2 books to get in, but I'm really excited to have hardcovers of this series. So Z is for Snatcher. Last book that kept you up late. So for me, that was The Temptation of a Highlander. Again, Alyssa Braden. This book was a lot of fun, very entertaining. There was a lot happening. This book was a lot of pages. Let me see how long this book was, because this was kind of a long one. 442 pages. So yeah. it was a long one. There was a lot happening, and I really wanted to figure out, you know, what was going to happen by the end of it. She's got a stalker, and I was just like, I gotta see what's going to go down with this stalker. Like, how are we going to take him out, you guys? Like, how are we going to get this stalker? We got to kill this man. So I was really, really, really like into this book. I was just so ready for them to like have a showdown with the stalker. Like I was in for it. So yeah, that was the last book that kept me up at night, and I really enjoyed myself. Those are all the questions for the A to Z tag. If you are a booktuber and you are interested in doing this tag, do the tag. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed coming up with answers for all of these, but yeah, thank you for joining me. If you have made it to the end of this video and you'd like to leave a comment, but maybe you don't know what to comment, go ahead and leave me a sandwich emoji. I don't know why, but I'm hungry. Maybe that's why I'm thinking of a sandwich. Go ahead and leave me a sandwich emoji. Otherwise, just leave me some comments. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what your answers would be for some of these questions. I'd love to know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.